Todd Monken out. Mike Bobo in as the offensive coordinator for Georgia. Fishy, you want to go ahead and give us your breakdown, bro?
Well, we're going to get real quick. You know, Todd Monken comes in, automatically wins 2 national titles with Georgia.
Facts.
Georgia's offense goes from average at best to elite with a walk-on quarterback with Stetson Bennett. And so now you got Mike Bobo in there that's been there before at Georgia and has been mediocre before, has bounced around at South Carolina, has bounced around at Auburn. Pretty much been a little bit average everywhere he's been. He's going to have a lot more talent to work with at Georgia. But I guess the question is, do your expectations for Georgia change this year with losing Todd Monken and hiring Mike Bobo? And like I said, Todd Monken been there 2 years and won 2 titles with Georgia. So keep that in mind if you make these expectations and your thoughts about Georgia, because we are getting into previews soon. Not anytime really too soon, but this will change the outlook towards the season going forward.
So, offensive analyst, not an offensive OC, came over from Auburn, South Carolina as an interim head coach. So, Mike Bobo's been in the game for a little bit since 1999. He actually played at Georgia. He was a quarterback. So, if anybody's ready to, well, actually, where was he a head coach at?
He was a head coach at Colorado State, I think.
Interim head coach at South Carolina in 2020.
Yep.
But his overall record as a head coach, 28-38, 0-3 in bowl games. I don't know. Then you look at the whole resume that Todd Monken has had. First of all, what y'all think he about to do with Lamar Jackson? I know it's not an NFL show, but Coach, from your perspective, what do you think he about to do?
Like I said, I'm assuming that you got to build an offense the way Lamar Jackson wants it. I mean, you got to just build it around his skill set. That run pass option, that's just basically his skill set. You know, it gives you an option to either run it or keep it or just give it to J.K. Dobbins, who had a great year. I think the team is limited because you don't have the weapons. You really don't have the weapons to make the offense come full blown out. So when you're going in, anytime you're going up against a very good football team, they're going to know you're coming in trying to run the ball, which is, you've seen them consistently struggle with the receiver position. Couldn't nobody get open. They didn't have trying to run the ball. Receivers outside of Mark Andrews. Pretty much, you really couldn't find nobody else. Sammy Watkins, he needs to consider retirement. He's not the same Sammy Watkins anymore. You got Marcus Robinson, who's average, who's not really that good, who's flipped from team to team. So outside of, and then you have Deshaun Jackson as well, who's been way past his prime. So other than that, you don't have a receiving core to work with. They need receivers desperately, but he's gonna have to use it from Lamar Jackson skill set as Greg Roman was. I mean, definitely what he's gonna have to use. You can't always run the ball every time when teams are gonna know you're gonna run the ball with J.K. Dobbins or either keep it with Lamar Jackson. So at the end of the day, that receiving core needs to be beefed up for Baltimore for that offense to be able to come full blown and work.
And fishing, just from being the SEC guy before we get to Hayden, like, what do you think is about to happen? Do you think they continue what they started, or do you think this is a bad thing? Because we were talking about Georgia might have at least a good season to go in, depending on what the quarterback situation is going to look like. And if that turns out pretty good, and with all the talent that they got there, they might be able to do this thing again. I know they got rid of A.D. Mitchell, but I mean, what's his name was McConkey was their number one target, anyways.
Yeah, I think your mic's off again.
Really?
I think so. No, but yeah. So my thoughts about this are like I said, Todd Monken won 2 natties with him. Georgia's offense been not really good in general without Todd Monken. They've had Mike Bobo before. You're coming in at a late part, really. I mean, spring practice is about to start, and you're just now getting in and it's kind of late. I mean, and you're implementing all this, and not only that, but you have one of the biggest quarterback battles in the country going on with Gunnar Stockton, Carson Beck, and Brock Vandergriff. So you have to figure that out. You have to implement your own stuff. Now, the only good thing I could see about it, maybe because he was an analyst behind Todd Monken, is maybe he keeps some of that offense. Maybe that can help him out. Brock Bowers doesn't go anywhere. Got most of the same wide receivers besides A.D. Mitchell. But to me, this is a big blow for Georgia. It's bigger than a lot of people think. Now, I don't think the sky is falling, but it is a big blow for Georgia, especially if you're trying to contend for national titles again. So, and with a defense that's going to be really, really good, not sure about elite, probably right on the cusp of it. It's questionable to think about what Georgia will be this year because of this hire at this point in time, to me.
Mm. That makes sense. I mean, we have. Am I staticky?
Yeah.
Hold on. I got you, brother. I got you. What about now? Am I good now?
Yes.
All
yes.
Right. Yes.
Sorry, I had to fix my settings. Todd Monken being out is going to be it's going to be interesting for the Ravens, but Mike Bobo being in, the fortunate thing for him is he's had 1 year to see how things are run, and Kirby Smart going to be on them hind parts too, on how he wants that offense to run. If they want any type of prominence moving forward, I don't think. Do you? Let me ask you the reverse question, because I think Kirby Smart's going to be very, very hard on his regime, just like he's very, very hard on his players. Because now they're. I mean, we're not mentioning Alabama anymore because Georgia's been so prominent, and I know Fishing hates that because he's a Florida fan, but you just call it what it is. They're a premier program right now in America, and college football. Hayden, do you think he's going to be hard on his coaches as much as he's hard on his players?
100%, because coaching is huge. Like it's a huge part of the game, because if the coaching isn't good, the players, the on-field performance won't be as good as it is. And this is a huge loss for Georgia, like Fishin said. And looking at their schedule, I could see them with this loss lose a couple of close games, like against, for example, Tennessee. I could see a loss, maybe a trap game in Ole Miss as well. You got South Carolina, who's up and down every other game. It seems like there could be some trap games for Georgia, games that's way too close for comfort, because their offense isn't producing like it has been the past couple years.
Facts. Oh my God, what's happening? All right, there we go. Yeah, this is was this, Fisher, from your perspective, was this unexpected?
Not really. No, I mean, I think everybody knew this was going to happen when Todd Monken was getting interviews and everything. He was serious about taking an NFL job, and I think they all kind of expected him to. And you had Mike Bobo, like I said, he's been there at Georgia before. He's sitting there on staff. I think they really, I think everybody knew, Georgia fans really mainly, if Todd Monken went, that's who they were going to get. Now, they might have thought that they would actually do a coaching search, which they didn't. And they kind of, I mean, because this was planned, right? Because Kirby knew this too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this was this was the plan the whole time. Now, I will say about Kirby with the offense. Kirby has been known to make bad decisions with the offense, and we're talking about to the question of, is he going to be hard on Mike Bobo and all this? And maybe he will, because maybe he's learned, right? But he brought Todd Monken in, and he let Todd Monken kind of take over, and even with a walk-on quarterback, did what he did. But I have seen in the past, and this is what everybody's worried about, that Kirby Smart will make a bad decision at quarterback, not choose the more talented quarterback, not kind of stick his hand in the cookie jar with the offense and not let Mike Bobo do his thing, if Mike Bobo is even the guy. So it's just concerning about how they're going to go about it. So it could be good, it could be bad, it could be just average, and you get what you get. And I tend to think it's probably just going to be above average as far as offensively goes. I'm just not too high on Mike Bobo.
Neither am I.
Yeah, I mean, his track record says different. Having the record at head coach at 28 and 38, 0-3 in bowl games, and just to slap national championship as a accomplishment and honor for being an offensive analyst. I think we gotta chill on some of these awards. That's like the team getting a Super Bowl ring, even though you're the third. The third.
You could not.
I'm cutting out.
Yeah.
What is going on? Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna restart this. Not the stream, but just this. All right, we good now?
Yeah, we straight. You straight now.
All right. So, yeah, I think they're gonna have some issues. It's gonna be even harder to repeat or triple Pete, I guess you could say, three-peat.
There you go.
The national championship. But Georgia's gonna do what they're gonna do. I think Kirby Smart runs a tight ship. I think everybody's seen that. Everybody's heard the audio of him in the locker room before the national championship, right? Like, Kirby ain't gonna play no games, yo. Now he has set the standard, and he did something that Mark Richt couldn't do. And Fishing, were you a Mark Richt fan, even though he coached at Georgia?
Yeah.
I would say so too, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big Mark Richt fan. I was a big fan of him.
Hayden, you remember who Mark Richt was?
Yeah, I was a fan of him as well.
I think everybody liked just his philosophy as a human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's why you were a big fan of his. It's like in the back of everybody's mind, it's like, dang, I know, especially Fishing, man. You're a Florida fan. Damn, I don't want you to have success, but I want you to have success. And then he just so happened to go to Miami. And what did he do at Miami when he was there?
He wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
He was not bad.
Crazy.
But he ended up getting, what did he get? Alzheimer's or something like that? And and he's got early stages of that. So, unfortunately, but
it's crazy, man.